Truest Farms.
We'll check on everybody this morning. Almost the perfect day to be out here.
It is.
Weather's great. Why we were farming in the first place. But we wanted the name to kind of have an instant connection for what we were doing. So Truest Farms came from producing food in its truest form. And so for what that means to us is that we're more focused on how the animals are being raised, how they're interacting with nature, the way that they typically would, as close as you could in a domesticated situation. So you can actually, if you crack the egg, you can pull the yolk with your fingers. It'll separate right from the whites. You can sit there and play with it. And the eggs that we get from the grocery store, they're really cheap ones. They'll break even if you try to initially touch them. So that's kind of what we look for in the eggs.
Good girl. Thank you. Oh, you're laying some interesting looking ones. Every day? Yep. Or over 100 a day. Sorry, how rude. Didn't mean to interrupt. Thanks, sweetie.
But wheels, because it is heavier, they would sink actually in the mud. That's kind of almost on skis.
I see.
So he designed where the 4x4s go all the way around it, so it's like a ski.
Come on. So we always knew we would do some produce. It's on a much smaller scale than you would typically if you were just into produce, but we just expanded and we're at 26 50-foot rows, and each row is 30 inches. So this is specifically a market garden, and it's there's a whole book on it, but the idea is that you do 30 inches wide, you have an 18-inch row, so you have even spacing as you go through. And the 30-inch bed is actually raised. So when we go through, we actually, and we can see it a little bit better on the other side maybe, but the 18 inches is actually hand dug out by us after we've tilled the initial time, and we actually heap it up, we amend with compost, all that is mixed in, and that's our fertilizer. We don't add any synthetic fertilizers, we don't do any chemicals, any herbicides, pesticides, anything like that would be organic if at all. So we try to do it as natural as possible. We have lots of insects that want to eat our food, so we do have to kind of manage for that. And you can see that with the netting over our collards and our kale. All of our brassica plants tend to be the hardest hit out here. We have flea beetle and cabbage moth pretty heavily. So yeah, we grow a major variety, but the idea is everything is permanent. This is not tilled every year. This is just built up and amended year over year, and so it's a major investment up front. As long as we've managed it properly. So it is rotating. Like, so the rows that we have, a lot of your root vegetables, so your potatoes, your garlic, your carrots, that's using up a lot of nutrients. So then we want to follow that with nitrogen fixers, like your peas and your beans. So we don't have that down to a science yet, but having a proper rotation where radios has been really helpful this year. We didn't have that last year, and it was really complicated. It seems silly, you're all on the same property, but when I'm in the backfield and
It takes a family effort.
It really does, yeah. This is how most of my days off are, is helping out in the garden and with the animals when needed. Yeah, they had broccoli in this part last year, so they just started regrowing. When I went to school, I did some large animal. Mostly just production. I did some animal medicine, large animal medicine as well. I was with OSU Large Animal Hospital for about a year, which I enjoyed immensely. Ended up in small animal, just kind of how things worked out as far as medicine. I love it though.
Sure.
So, but I can apply some of the things I did in school and did with my
Sure.
internships with OSU to here. So, we had
I like hunting. It's like get to find lots of things.
yeah. So you're very good at finding the morel mushrooms, huh? Yeah, those specifically. She's very good at finding them. I love them. Oh my gosh.
But these animals are working to not only sustain the environment, not only to take care of, you know, their waste product is going into the ground and it's not getting siphoned off somewhere, but they're actually regenerating, which literally means that they are fertilizing these soils, they are eating the grass, which is stimulating the grass, they're growing the roots are going down, they're taking carbon out of the atmosphere and that's going into the soil. And that is actually working against all of the carbon that we have going on. It's actually reducing the carbon in the air. And if everybody farmed like this, that issue
There will be an
would,
impact.
I can't say it would solve all of it, it would
There will be an
eliminate it
impact,
overnight, but grass actually sequesters more carbon than our trees do.
Okay.
All of this used to be grassland in Ohio, even in, you know, throughout
Prairie,
the Midwest.
yeah.
Prairie. That, I mean, I do enjoy interacting with the animals and knowing which they are. Some people confuse that with just trying to be nice or, you know, thinking it needs to be a certain way, and the reality is that impacts the flavor
It does.
of the meat.
Yeah,
It impacts their quality of life and impacts
It's a relationship.
all of it, you know. So the more relaxed they are, the more comfortable they feel, the less stress they have.
Sure.
They grow better, they stimulate the environment better, and at the end of the day, it's good for us because it's tasty meat too.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, it's not all business and it's not all fluff either. It's a complete and absolute balance of interacting with it. But yeah, if we at least focus on the form in which they're being raised, that's what's important to us, and everything else can build off of that. So that's been kind of a key, what's grounded us on how we choose what to bring in here, how to raise it, where we place it. It affects everything of what we're trying to do to at least ground it down to that core line. Even down to like the pigs. The pigs are a very specific breed. It's a hybrid breed. We wanted to do heritage, but this hybrid specifically lends itself better to grazing. It's they're much easier on the pasture.
Okay.
They may take longer. It'd be nice to grow up on quicker and pond, but that's all keeping it to the core of they're able to interact with the environment without tearing it apart. There he goes. This is actually our standoffish doe.
Okay.
Like the fact that she's even letting me pet her is nuts. And that's my doe. This is that. Oh, you're coming up a little bit. But the idea is they actually are bred, so their personalities have been standoffish. So the idea is they mostly eat grass, but they get a sweet feed that has some mineral. Alexander, get over here. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Alexander, get over here. Big bad ram. You gonna show me? It's right there. Yeah, so Alexander is so all four of our lambs come from a good friend, Catherine, over at Truest Farm. And Alexander was one of her favorites. He was a bottle baby, and he's actually the oldest in the group, but the smallest, which he's catching up pretty quick. There's quite a size difference when they first got sheep, cow or sheep. The way they graze, they're gonna come through and just get the grass that they want, and they'll pick through their fun stuff. And the idea is the pigs go next. They're gonna eat more of your weeds, some of the bramble and stuff, and then the chickens come back through last, because you theoretically have bugs attracted to the droppings. They're going to spread out that fertilizer, and then you can even follow which we're going to try doing with the goats, is to eliminate invasives. So you have honeysuckle here, you have Flora rose, which is almost not even, this is just the top part of it left. But that's highly invasive and grows through, so they're chewing that down. And poison ivy. Goats love poison ivy, so all of that was kind of grown in around us right here. So basically, we're literally moving them ahead. They're clearing all out the bramble, the thorns, all the weedy stuff, converting it all over to grass. And then as they clear out the honeysuckle and stuff, we'll come through and we'll cut that down.
Nice.
And so the idea is over the next, I don't know, 5-10 years, you'll have mostly pasture, and we'll still have bushes and trees, but they'll hopefully be native for production. And so you do that over and over in a cycle. You got high fertilizer, you got selected plants that are pasture based that are growing in and fulfilling there.